How No Contact Feels Part 2. The response of the lesser narcissist to the implementation of no contact has already been described. What then of the mid-range narcissist? Let us begin with a scenario where you have decided to escape him, and you convey this news to him in person. The declaration that you are ending the formal relationship will naturally result in the mid-ranger experiencing criticism, and thus his fury will be ignited. Unlike the lesser, the mid-ranger will be able to exert some control over this ignited fury. He also tends to have it manifest as cold fury rather than heated fury. The initial response will be for the mid-ranger to keep the ignited fury under control. Instead, he will focus his energies on a preventative hoover as he tries to stop you from moving forward with your stated intention. The mid-ranger will rarely utilize charm in the preventative hoover, unlike the greater narcissist, but instead will opt for deploying a pity play and appealing to your empathic traits such as compassion, pity, and guilt. The mid-ranger will not, at least at first, lash out like a lesser. He can maintain some control for a short period of time. He is also predisposed to acting in a passive-aggressive manner, along with having the benefit of having some calculated ability. He will realize that you are naturally dissatisfied with his behavior and performance in the formal relationship, and this is what he will seize on. Whilst he is able to maintain control, he will opt for apologizing and showing apparent recognition of the faults you may well have described in your parting shot. When telling a mid-ranger that the formal relationship is at an end, you should expect to hear the following comments. I realize now that things are not as good as they should be. I am sorry. You are right. I have not been thinking about you as much as I should have. I have been busy with work, and I have neglected you. I guess I have been trying to do the right thing for us by not working hard, but I got it wrong. I won't be able to manage without you. You cannot leave me. I won't know what to do. I will be lost without you. I should have realized sooner, but I have been distracted. I have not treated you as well as I should have. Please give me a chance to put things right. You are right in what you say. I need to change. I can. Please, will you help me? I just need another chance, and you will see that I can make things right again. You can expect earnest looks, tears, and apparent remorse and contrition. None of it is real in terms of it being meant for you. Instead, this is the manifestation of the mid-ranger's growing fear at the looming loss of his primary source. He is fearful for himself, feels sorry for himself, and appears to be contrite and remorseful purely as a device to stop you from leaving him. If this preventative hoover fails, then the mid-range suffers a further criticism, and now his ignited fury can no longer be kept under control. He lacks the ability to control, and furthermore, the increased criticism has wounded him considerably, meaning this wound needs to be healed. The ignited fury causes him to seek fuel, and since you are proximate to him, that fuel will be sought from you. The immediate manifestation of this ignited fury will be through cold fury. The mid-ranger will sulkily seek to apply emotional blackmail against you in order to provoke a reaction from you and thus gain fuel. Expect to hear comments such as, I cannot believe you are doing this after everything that I have done for you. So this is how you treat someone who has loved you like nobody else. How can you do this to me? Don't I mean anything to you? I was right. You are just selfish, aren't you? I have done so much for you and you treat me like dirt. You are a selfish bitch. All my friends said you would do this, but oh no, I defended you. Looks like I wasted my time. Note how in the preventative hoover there was apparently some recognition of being at fault, some sense of culpability and blame. That was false, and this is demonstrated by the sudden switch to blaming you instead. It was never the fault of the mid-ranger. It was your fault all along. He is hard done to, and you are the horrible, awful person who has been so beastly to him. If you react and provide fuel, the mid-ranger will keep going, laying the guilt on thick, in order to heal his wound with the fuel that you have provided. If you supply sufficient fuel for this to happen, and his ignited fury is extinguished, he will then withdraw. He will not risk attempting a further preventative hoover. He has enough awareness to realize that his shift to blaming you, insulting you, and accusing you of being the one at fault will not bring you back. However, with fury extinguished, he will instead withdraw and turn his attention to seeking a new primary source. You will be let go, and in his mind, the mid-ranger will be the one who has ended it. If you fail to provide any fuel at this additional criticism, if you are dealing with a lower mid-range narcissist, you may find yourself subjected to some property destruction and or low-level violence, slapping, pushing, spitting, in order to try again to draw fuel. If it is provided, the behavior will continue until the fury is extinguished, and then he will withdraw. If you fail to provide any fuel, then the mid-ranger will effectively flounce off and walk away from you. This happens for two reasons. Firstly, this enables him to maintain that he ended the relationship with you. Secondly, this is because he will now seek out sympathetic secondary and even tertiary sources to regale them with his tale of woe and how horrible you have been, and also to smear you. This will garner him the fuel he needs, since you failed to provide it, and his wound will be addressed. He will then focus on acquiring the new primary source to replace you, leaving you alone. The mid-ranger will be extensive in his smearing of you and the sucking up of sympathy from anybody and everybody. He will play the victim to a considerable degree and is therefore likely to obtain the fuel he needs to heal the wound and then provide him with the energy to seek out the new primary source. He will play the hard done-to spouse, the cuckolded boyfriend, as he invents all manner of tales about your reprehensible behavior in order to milk the situation that he has found himself in, and he will milk it for all it is worth. If you do not tell the mid-ranger that the formal relationship has ended in person, and instead you send a message, leave a note, and let him work it out for himself, he will attempt to prevent the implementation of no contact through a preventative hoover before it is too late. You will be bombarded with messages, telephone calls, and personal appearances for the purpose of pleading with you and begging you. Expect stones thrown at your window and begging displays from underneath your bedroom window. His remorse will be extensive and the desire to change significant, but it is all part of the preventative hoover. If this fails, he will switch to lashing out at you as described above in order to try and gain fuel. If the mid-ranger is unable to effect any kind of contact with you, since your implementation of no contact has been so total, he will be forced to seek fuel from secondary and tertiary sources. He will do so on the basis of self-pity, misery, and wanting sympathy from those sources. The mid-ranger is apt to using this sympathy, milking it to promote an inner circle friend who is comforting him during this terrible period to become a new primary source, so that he gains fuel quickly and then is able to focus on this person and forget about you. If there is no promotion, even whilst drawing the sympathy fuel from secondary and tertiary sources, the mid-ranger will be looking for a new primary source in order to reinstate the appropriate fuel level which has been removed by your commencing no contact. If the mid-ranger should find himself in the position of not being able to draw fuel from secondary or tertiary sources, or he uses up those reserves before he is able to secure a new primary source, then he will slip into isolation and depression. This is rare for the mid-ranger. This is because invariably he has enough cognitive function to draw fuel from secondary and tertiary sources to sustain him whilst he seduces a primary source. He has enough ability to know how to portray his situation to maximize his position. The mid-ranger of the three schools of narcissism behaves the most pathetic when there is the threat of and the subsequent implementation of no contact. He first begs and pleads. If that does not work, he blames and lashes out verbally, but it is petulant and sulky. There is no terrible fury like that of the lesser. He is not even able to launch into strong violence, opting instead for milder forms as described above. Eventually he withdraws and seeks the solace of others by doling out pity plays to anybody who will listen, and leaving you well alone for fear of further criticism. Of course, hoovers may follow in the future, dependent on the relevant criteria, but for the mid-ranger, the threat of no contact brings a desperate plea to prevent it, and in the event that fails, expect petulant insults, self-pity, and withdrawal with the attendant smearing and need to draw sympathy from others.